Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and welcome to days 17 and 18 of Inktober 2022. This is not perfect Zen, which means I don't do perfect work, but I do it slowly, I do it in a friendly way, and I hope that you enjoy it. With all of these tiles, I'm using a Micron 01, a graphite pencil, a blending stump, and sometimes a kneaded eraser. I'm using 2 by 2 inch tiles that I cut from paper that I watercolored, and there is a link in the description, which is down below this video. All right, this is what we've done so far. We have 16 done. And we're going to do 17 and 18. All right. Here's my journal. And day 17 is Lollywimple by Sandy Hunter, CZT. And day 18 is Slowpoke by Chris Letourneau. And I've done a video on that one, and I'll put a link in the description for that. Lollywimple. I really had a lot of fun with this one. And I would encourage you to go to the Step Outs by Sandy Hunter. And there is a link to the PDF, which has a link to the Step Outs. There are so many things that you can do with this. And I think a border is the simplest thing to do, and that's what I'm going to show you today. But as you can see here, there's a lot of other things that you can do. And it's easy and it's fun. So pick a tile and get started. For this one, and I think I'm just going to go across. Actually, let's do part of this as if we were putting a border. So for a border, I want to leave some space over here. And so we're going to start with a pencil line, and then I'm going to come across this way again, and then I'm going to put another pencil line for the inside, and then come back across this way. And this is just a guideline to get started. And then I'm going to use my pen and start putting some orbs. And if I'm going to do a corner, I like to start with putting an orb in the corner. So I'm going to make this one pretty good size. And then I'm going to go ahead and put another big one here in this corner. And then going on these lines, we just put, let me show you again. We're going to put small orbs and then another big orb. Or, like you see here, we could put big, small, medium, large, medium, small, just however you want to do it. It's going to work out. All right. So I'm going to come down this way, and I'm going to put a small orb here, and then I'm going to put another big orb and another small orb, and then across from those I'm just going to put a small one across from the big one, and a big one across from that small one. It's not a perfect orb, and that's just fine. So same thing on this side. I'm going to put a smaller one, and then a small one here, another big one. Oops, that's okay. No mistakes. All right, should have been a big one, but it's really not going to matter. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use that line now to help us put the auras on here. And all of the auras go on the inside of the pattern. I'm going to start down here on this one. Okay, let me make this line just a little bit darker so you can see. I don't think it's showing up very well. Okay, so on this outside, I'm going to put auras around each of these. And I attempt to make them about the same, but I rarely get it right. But again, no mistakes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a second aura on here before I flip it and do the other side. Do it in whatever way makes you comfortable. Okay, again, we're stopping on that line. And if you two auras meet, that's okay. All right. Now I'm going to turn it and do the same thing coming down this side. Okay, we're staying on the inside of that penciled borderline that we put. I'm going to go back over here to this one. And you could, if you want, just like I said, put one aura on each side at a time. And where this one meets, I'm just going to make it look like it went behind. I'm going to go back to the first side that I did. And it's going to come up where that one meets. I'm going to go behind, come right back up. You can just come around. You can go all the way down, or just go ahead and just come down a little bit and then back up. Okay. Now let's turn it and go back to the inside. And then where we have some openings, I'm just going to put another aura in here. And with this one, just kind of fill it in a little bit from whichever side you want. And I'm just going to kind of alternate here to take that one to the end. Okay, so I'm going to use my kneaded eraser and remove those lines. You don't have to. Okay, so you have some options here. And let's look at this again. On this one, after I finished that step, like here, okay, I went and just put little caps on the ends of each of these. And these were ideas that I saw, I believe, from Sandy Hunter. Another one is to just put little dots. You could put other little embellishments here. But if you're going to use it as a border, you also can just put the line across there. And I could have left that pencil line there, but I didn't. So let's just see how this looks. If we put the line across here, do not go inside your orbs. And this makes a nice clean border. All right. We do the same thing here. I do love looking on Mosaic and Facebook and Instagram to see what people have done with these patterns. And I liked this one too. So now you've seen 4 different ways to do it. And as far as these orbs, I just like to make it look like a little gemstone. So in the upper area, I'm just going to put a little C, and I'm not going right at the edge, and I'm only going to do this on these big ones, and that's one of the reasons I like to put that size on there. It's because I can make it look kind of like a gemstone. Okay, and then I'm going to take my blending stump, and I'm just going to soften that. Okay, keep my hand out of the way. And if you can see, I've left that area and without any graphite on it, not shaded. Trying to find the word to use. And then it gives you more of a look of an orb that way. Okay. Very simple gemstone look with just one swipe of your graphite pencil and your blending stuff. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could come along here between these and add a little graphite. And then soften it towards the middle with your blending stuff. I have not used this as a border, but I'm pretty sure I will now. I really like how this looks. All right, there you go. Soften this one a little bit more. All right, so that was Lollywimple by Sandy Hunter CZT. And our next one is Slowpoke by Chris Laterna. And I have done a video on this one, and I'll leave a link to it. It makes a very pretty border. Okay, very simple pattern and very pretty. Okay, so let's see how this one works. For this one, we start with a double line for our border, and I'm going to go across this way. Try to give myself a nice amount of room to work with. Okay, and then 2 lines again. Okay, and then down the center, we're going to put a wavy line. So just start anywhere. And you're going to try to leave yourself enough room on each side to put some swirls. So don't come down too far, about like that. Okay, so just a wave. And then from the center, we're going to start putting some spirals in there. And I'm going to show you again a couple of ideas. This one, I did a couple of searches, like in the Mosaic app and on the internet, and this was one of them. And unfortunately, I love this journal, but the ink bleeds just a little bit, so it's not quite as defined as I liked, but that was one of the ideas. This is just the simple basic pattern. And then this one I saw several people do, where it's like weighted printemps, and you weight it on just one side. So I'm going to do something similar to that on this tile. I'm going to start on this side and come up, and then once you touch, you're just going to go ahead and make an orb. Not an orb, a spiral, I'm sorry, and bring it around and in. Okay. I lost my example that I was following. Okay. And then on this part inside where we just came in, we're just going to add some weighting on the inside here. Okay. So we're going to come up, touch the top, come back around, touch that bottom, make a spiral, and then again on this inside part, we're going to add our wavy. And this was another one that I saw that I really liked. So I'm going to touch. I touched up here and touched there. And then add my weighting. This one's going to be big. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add my weighting. And I'm putting that weighting on the inside after I first touch the bottom. And then just keep going. I do like patterns that repeat. They're easy to do. And I'm just going to leave that open for now. I'm going to start on this side. So you start from this middle line to start your spirals. And then once you get that spiral in there, add weighting on the first inside part. You see, just add a little bit of a line or aura, and then fill that in. I don't think I've mentioned lately that I don't speed up my videos. You get to see these in real time, the way that I draw them. YouTube does have the option to speed up or slow down a video if you need it. But I like to do it without speeding it up. That way you have the option to change it if you want to. Okay, that would go up and it would probably come around like this. Like this. And we'll put our weighting here. And then back on this side, I think just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and put another spiral down here. Okay, so that is the first couple of steps. With these little triangles that we have now between each one of these, we're going to put an orb and then fill in the area around that orb. So however much space you have, just put a little orb in there and then fill that in. I'm not going to worry about that side. We'll go ahead and put one here. Again, this makes a nice border or a ribbon. You could put one color on this side and another color on the other if you're putting this on a white tile. Okay. One of the other options that Chris shows for this outside border is to just put some small lines coming down, and don't worry about spacing on these. You can make a solid border. You can make it a little bit wider and put something else in there. Okay, I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on this side. Okay. For shading, I'm going to put graphite just right on top of that center line that we added at the very beginning. And then I'm going to go ahead and put graphite just along the inside of that initial border that we put. And with our blending stump, come along and soften this. So it has a little bit of shading on both sides. And then just soften that lightly along the bottom. All right, so there we have Slowpoke. Like I said, this is just a little bit different from this one. I like them both. And you see, if you make this a little bit of a wider wavy line, you can get two big ones in there instead of just one small one or two mediums. All right. So Slowpoke and Lollywimple. I'm definitely going to play with Lollywimple some more. So let's add these. Okay, sorry about the wobbly camera. And there is Lollywimple and Slowpoke. We have days 17 and 18 finished. All right. Thanks again for joining me. I love reading your comments. I love seeing your posts when you tag me on Instagram. And in Instagram, I am at BBL Tangles. I have sloppy writing today. All right. At BBL Tangles. Thanks again, and I will see you in 2 days. Have fun. Bye.